And good morning, everybody. Welcome to Title Time. I'm your host, Jason, and with me, as always, this band of merry men. And they're merry because we all got to eat a bunch of food over the last weekend. Hopefully, everybody got good food. Hopefully, everybody got leftovers. How was your 3 Thanksgivings there, George?
You would ask me as I'm getting ready to take a bite of my ham and cheese egg sandwich here.
That's why I went to you first, bud.
Yeah, so I've got leftover ham from Thanksgiving, and I am currently incorporated some of that leftover ham into my ham sandwich. But my 3 Thanksgivings were phenomenal. There's no such thing as a bad Thanksgiving. Even if the turkey's dried out and crusty and burnt, it doesn't matter because typically there's sides, and let's face it, the sides are the highlight of most Thanksgivings anyway.
So I'm going to have you put one of the 3 Thanksgivings on blast. What was your least favorite dish from one of your 3 Thanksgivings?
It's hard to say least favorite because there was no bad Thanksgiving. So I'm not going to blast anybody. They were all amazing. They were all fantastic.
And that's a politics answer there. Mark, how was your Thanksgiving?
Thanksgiving was great. Spend time with family. I still eat a bird. It may not be turkey, but still.
Here's an interesting thought experiment. When I was a kid, my brother didn't like turkey either, but he loved chicken. So my parents fed him turkey and called it big chicken. Have you ever tried that?
I would know the difference.
All right. Anything you got put on your plate that you didn't really want to eat? Does
no.
everybody know better by now?
Yeah, everybody knows that by now,
All right. Continuing around the horn, Frito Bandito, anything different you had in your household than traditional Thanksgiving? You're muted, buddy.
Not so much different. I did have a bad experience for this year's Thanksgiving. And it wasn't so much on Thanksgiving Day, with the day after. So obviously after Thanksgiving and everything, everybody still has a whole bunch of food and stuff like that. Well, my father-in-law, he brought over some Hawaiian roll pretzels. I don't know if you guys ever seen those. So it comes in this container and stuff like that.
Okay, yeah, the plastic container. Yep.
Yeah. So he brought those over, and the day of Thanksgiving, I ate about 2 or 3 of them and stuff like that. Real good. And next day, I decided to work from home the next day. So I was sitting here at the house, sitting there, like, you know what? I'm going to give me another one. So went over there, ate 2 of them out of there, went to go down for the 3rd one and looked down and noticed a little hair growing everywhere and stuff like that. So I got my early dose of penicillin for that day. So.
I mean, and then what the Raiders did to you. Well, I'm going to ask about that. Well, you know what? I'm just going to ask we don't need to get into it too deep because it's been talked about a lot by everybody, but raise your hand if you think it was a false start. I figured it was just.
I mean, if you watch the replay, the one ref did run over calling a false start.
He did.
Until they had that little meeting where they decided to help the Chiefs out.
So I guess the question is, because I watched it a few times, and I know everybody's calling it a false start, but the only guy that really moves is the center. And can the center, I mean, aside from a head movement, but can the snap of the ball be considered a false start if nobody's ready for it? I don't know. He's the only one I saw that was moving.
I mean, I think that wouldn't be a false start. He would have to move before snapping the ball for it to be on the center.
All right. Well, I think that was the second worst ending of a game. This we'll get to Crana here in a few minutes. That was the second worst ending for a team.
No, Crana's is the worst ending.
No, I meant
Sorry.
the Raiders was the second worst.
Yeah,
The
okay,
Kranis
okay.
is the worst, and we'll get to that because that's coming with a head coaching change. Probably a bunch of weeks too late. But Dave, how was your Thanksgiving?
It was pretty good. Dina bought me giant platter plates with separate for partitions for all the food. So she just brought me. It looked like she was serving a party, but it was just me.
I know you might get beat if you said there was something that wasn't great, but I'm going to ask you the question anyway.
She doesn't put anything I don't like on my plate. She makes my plate for me, and she knows everything I'll eat. So I'm sure there was stuff that was bad or nasty, but only because I don't like that stuff. Like, don't bring green bean casserole anywhere near me.
So last week I had said even bad stuffing is good stuffing, and gentlemen, I'm here to tell you I was wrong, and I apologized. And my mother-in-law who made it knew it, so I'm not putting anybody on blast. She tried a new recipe, so I cooked the turkey instead of her. That was part of what Thanksgiving was going to be this year, is that I was going to make the turkey so she didn't have to. Typically, she makes the stuffing in the turkey, like you do when you put it in the oven. You don't do that necessarily when you smoke a turkey, so we didn't get to make the stuffing inside the turkey. She tried a new recipe, and let's just say it didn't work. So, back to the drawing board.
Am I the only one who, excuse me, I don't mean to cut you off, Jason, but am I the only one who believes that Thanksgiving and Christmas dinners are not the time to try new recipes? Like, you don't put the rookie in big moments like that. Like, you go to your trusty veteran, you do what you know is going to work. You don't put the rookie in in a big moment like that. You just trust your veterans.
I don't mind it as long as you've got something beside it that's tried and true, right? Like, so if she'd bought stovetop and made some stovetop and then tried this recipe, at least there'd be some like normal stuffing there waiting for me. The real bummer is, like, I've been on a diet. That was my one cheat day. I didn't have stuffing we had breakfast with my parents. We didn't have dinner. My mom makes an amazing stuffing, and I didn't get any, and I'm not cheating on my diet to have any leftovers. So I'm just I'm down stuffing this year, and we'll have to make it up next year with a big old plate of it. So it's what it is, guys.
I love how you talk about your diet as Rich has a Danish, and I'm over here eating my egg, ham, and cheese sandwich.
I had a banana cream pudding donut this morning. So,
it's bad. Look, I still get stuff for the people at work. So, like, I'll go. There's an amazing donut spot down the road, so I'll get them a dozen donuts and just not have any. I'm used to it at this point. We're used to making multiple meals at the house where, I get to eat the main and everybody else gets really incredible. Like, they get French fries or like some, like, I'll make risotto or whatever, and I'll just eat green beans, something else. So it's kind of, I had a lot of fun getting fat, and now I'm paying for that. So we'll get there, and then eventually I can ease up a little bit. But that's why Thanksgiving was so important, because I had my favorite bagels that morning with my parents, and then I went and had smoked turkey and mac and cheese and not stuffing. But anyway, all right, guys, we're going to get into games of the week. We can go over the games that we called last week. Justin gave us the Ravens in a win, so he wins. Did they win last week? Did they lose last week? They won. They beat the Chargers. And that's why Rich is a loser last week, because the Ravens beat the Chargers. Mark called Seattle over Arizona, and that was correct. David called the Panthers over the Chiefs. Now, he was close. That was an almost upset. He almost got it pulled off there, but Mahomes did Mahomes things. So that is a loss. George called the
30-10. Panthers over the Chiefs, right?
He did, and I felt like texting the group as soon as the Chiefs went over 10, I think, is in the first quarter, and I'm like, well, it's not going to be great for you.
Listen, the score prediction was just because I had already called the upset, so I said let's just have fun with it. I think I specifically even said that on the show. So I will not take slander about the score.
And then George picked the Bucks, which was a win, and I picked the Eagles, which was a win. And luckily, we didn't allow Mark to back off and take the Rams because that would have been a loss. So for the week, we are 4 wins, 2 losses. And one of them was a real long shot. So if you pick that one with Dave, you were doing it for the lulz.
I will say that in my sports betting, I took them plus the points, so I did win that particular bet.
Yeah, it was 12 points, and I think going back several games, I think the Chiefs are pretty poor against this. I think they've like 4 out of the last 5 games or 5 out of the last 6 games. I'm not a bettor, so I'm not 100% up on this, but they haven't met the spread. So yeah. Okay, so with that, we're going to do this week's games. If somebody wants to message while I'm doing this, while I'm writing you guys down, somebody wants to message Justin since he can't make it again this week, what game he wants to pick. I also want to mention to you guys that I am going to have to be off next week. It's my son's birthday. So hello, Eli. And we're taking him to the Magic Kingdom. So I won't be doing the show next week. Somebody's going to have to host for me. But that's okay because one of your pretty faces can get this job done. I do not have any doubts. So with that said, George, I'm going to give you the first shot at picking your game of the week, and you can't take a Thursday game or a Friday game, actually.
That's fine.
I know you.
No. I would not take a game that's already played. I would do something more along the lines of like taking the Kansas City Chiefs over the Panthers before I would take a game that was already played.
You did take the Bucks over Tommy DeVito and the Giants, so you were pretty close there.
I mean, don't hate the player, hate the game. I'm gonna go with. I want to take a crappy game. I want to leave some of these better games to the guys who are picking later. So I'll take it's not gonna be a crappy game, but it involves 2 teams that really don't like each other. Hopefully, there's some old Vontae Burfict and Antonio Brown blood in this game. Steelers and Bengals, division rivals. I'm going to take the Bengals on the upset here. No offense, David. I'm calling it an upset, though. I'm going to go with the upset here with the Bengals over the Steelers.
All right, George has got the Bengals. We'll switch over to David and see what he wants to do there.
Am I allowed to take the Steelers if somebody else goes against my team?
No, because it's your team. We made that rule last week. It saved Mark.
Well, it won't save me because the Steelers are going to win that game. And I can't pick the game of the week because that was yesterday when Michigan upset OSU. Just saying.
I think that needs a little bit more talk about than just a little 2-second flyover. We are now 4 years in a row over Ohio State and Ryan Day, that little punk-ass coach. Michigan has no quarterback this year, and we still beat Ohio State. Ohio State may never win another game. We now have the number 1 prospect in football and Bryce Underwood coming in next year at quarterback. It's great to be a Michigan Wolverine. That's all I'm going to say.
Here's the thing, guys. This is an NFL show. If you all want to talk about college, jump on Saturday mornings. I will care about these college
too.
I will care about these college players when they make it to the NFL. If they're good enough, I'll see them on Sunday.
Ironically, 2 of our first-round picks or prospective first-rounders that play for Michigan were actually out in that game. So,
exactly.
And we still
no point to watch it.
Don't forget about the defense. Mason Graham will be in the NFL next year.
Hey, I just want to know if I can get a board bet with Mark.
Yeah.
He said that Ohio State will never win another game. I feel like I want to take the over on. I want to take the over on that. I'm going to say let's throw that on the board. Ohio State will eventually win another game.
They will win another game. All right, you may have to wait like 5 years for that to pay off, but
I feel like they'll win another game this season.
I meant against Michigan, but.
Well, that's an important caveat. Okay, but I still all this college talk, which to me is just as important as the Tim Tebow talk last week.
Listen,
And
that went
I
on for a
still
good
only-
half hour.
and I still only have one answer on the whose team you want to pick. David, who are you picking?
It's a good game. Looking forward to it.
Yeah, let's go with the Eagles over the Ravens.
All right, David's taking the Eagles over the Ravens. All right, because you hate the Ravens.
I
know
do hate the Ravens.
I know that for a fact. Rich, I will listen this one time. I will let you take your own team if that's what you want to do.
I think I'll pass on it this week.
You're, okay.
I'm going to go with one of the best rivalry matchups of all time with these two great QBs, always going back and forth and always in the Super Bowl, the Colts and the Patriots. Oh, wait, this ain't back in the early 90s. Okay, so I will go, since you guys left it for me, I will go with the 49ers and Buffalo Bill game. Why not? I mean, snow, afraid that Josh Allen ain't going to score more fantasy points than Saquon Barkley in the snow. I don't know, man. It's kind of funny. Like when I'm looking at rankings this week and stuff like that, Josh Allen's ranked number 2 with the QBs and Barkley's ranked number 1 at running back. So, okay, I guess I could see how that could be a good question mark.
Yeah.
Come on, man, guys! It's a snow game, man. I love to see games like this. A talk going into it. Can't see the field and all that stuff. Look, these are the games I love watching, man.
All right, so who do you have in this game?
Oh, come on, man! Easily, Buffalo Bills. Who do the 49ers? What are they going to do in this game, man? Is Brock Purdy even playing?
Sounds like he is.
They're going to freeze to death is what they're going to do.
Exactly. Debo is a shell of himself this year. I mean, bright spot Jennings looks good. We all thought Ricky Pearsall was going to be, and that's including me. Thought, man, he's fixing to blow up. And goose egg last week, if I believe.
Well, I mean, you know, it is going to prove. I think the McVay or the coaching tree here is showing that like some of these offensive geniuses can't without a decent quarterback. And I'm throwing Purdy in as a decent quarterback. Everybody thought he was a system guy. Seems like Tua down in Miami is better than what people wanted to give him credit for, and Purdy's better than
Not
what people
me.
wanted
I gave
to give him.
in the world.
Well, you're a Dolphin fan. You gave Tannehill credit that he didn't deserve.
No, I didn't. I gave him credit for 1 year. 1 year.
You said he was a top.
Matt Moore. You could have said Matt Moore, and I would have been all guilty as that. But
you said he was a top 10 quarterback.
He was.
Okay,
for 1
Mark.
year.
Mark, I'm gonna get your game, and then we're gonna get to these questions. These guys, the people watching, have been very patient.
So Buffalo Bills.
I got you, Buffalo.
24-21.
24-2. So you just went on this thing of what are they gonna do? They can't do nothing against this Bills team, and then you're gonna let them score 21, and have them within 3.
Because the over and under is 44.5, so you always got to keep it within that range, man. Come on.
All right, Mark, what do you got?
So I'm gonna pick a ugly game, and every time I look at these games and think I'm picking the underdog, they're actually the favorite in this game. I don't know how, but I'm taking the Jets over the Seahawks, 20-14.
All right, Mark is taking
West Coast team going east. 1 o'clock game. It's not a bad bet.
Yeah, but is it based because you want the Seahawks to lose?
Oh, 1,000%. 1,000%.
All right, so I got to see what you guys left for me.
Left quite a few good games, actually.
Yeah. Well, with the picks, it's not even about picking good games. It's because I can't take the Panthers Bucks unless I pick the Panthers. And I thought about doing that for the reverse jinx. Rams against the Saints. I think that's where I'm going to go. I'm going to take the Rams. The Saints have been playing better as of late, but I think the Rams will be able to beat them this week. So I'm going to lock that one in and just hope I'm right, and for Mark's sake, that I'm not jinxing him by taking him. And then we will keep an eye out in case Justin replies.
I mean, he's in the chat asking questions, but he didn't respond to my text about who he wants to pick. So I don't know.
Okay. Well, we'll once we get to his questions, we'll ask him again. That way I can get him down. I got space on my paper there so I can add him. Before we jump in, I do want to mention that we do have a Patreon, patreon.com/toiletstitles. We have a tier for every level, $2.99. We'll get you the base level. You get your free agent or your waiver wire pickup. Free agent. You get your waiver wire pickup Monday night during the Monday night game. We get that out right away, so you can be ahead of your competition. We got the $2.99 tier all the way up to the Rich will come over to your house and eat your moldy food tier. Just don't let him look at it first, because that spoils the fun. You gotta let him get a couple bites in, and then he'll after he mows down a minute. But I have a feeling that stomach of yours, Rich, can handle just about anything.
It sure can.
All right. So with that, we're going to start getting into our questions and our comments here in the chat. Bobby Ham says, happy belated Thanksgiving and happy Sunday, family. I hope yours was great, Bobby. George had and is still having ham, so you would have enjoyed his Thanksgiving for sure. He got in here with a question. Russell Wilson at Cincy, Will Levis at Washington, or Winston, or should I wait to see if Purdy starts? If I wait and Purdy doesn't play, I have to play Jameis Winston at Denver. Please and thank you. We're going to start this off with the guy who answers all questions, the guy who just shrugged his shoulders and did a deep sigh and a breath release there. David, what do you got with this question?
Well, I don't like Jameis against Denver, especially with Cedric Tillman already out as well. And I'm nervous about waiting for Purdy. I don't like either of these other options, but man, I'd say play the hot hand, go with Levis at Washington. Our defense isn't exactly great, and Levis has been slinging it lately. So,
all right, we got one for Levis. Rich?
Yeah, I'm avoiding the Levis. I'm avoiding Levis because as soon as we all say Levis, everybody's going to start hitting us up with the Ekenai play today. So
we kind of already have it in the question next.
I'm actually going Russ Wilson against Cincy. I mean, defense hasn't been good there and stuff like that. So let's see Cincy and the Steelers do a high shootout game and stuff like that. Russ is going to benefit from it.
All right, Mark, we got one for Levis. We got one for Russ.
I'm with Rich. I'm shocked David didn't go Russell Wilson, especially when, to me, he's the clear pick here. I mean, I don't know how many times I mentioned how bad I think Cincy's secondary is. I know it's a divisional game, but I think Russ should have no problem throwing against him.
I do think David's trying to do the reverse jinx. He doesn't want to say Russ because he doesn't want Russ to suck.
I mean, there's that, and I just watching him. Literally, all he has is this moon ball that And if he didn't have George Pickens at the other end doing the freakish things that George Pickens does, it would suck. He'd get intercepted more than he'd complete passes. So it's just. It doesn't feel like something that is consistent enough for me to bank on.
Well, I don't know. The moon ball seemed pretty consistent to me with George Pickens.
I mean, George, what do you, Maddie? Though the moon ball, there might not be a defender near it.
That's true. Or if there is, it'll be that Cam Taylor brick because that's a definite catch.
George?
Yeah, Russell Wilson is the clear answer here. Bengals are 30th against opposing quarterbacks. Last I checked, there's still Calvin Austin. He's still out there. Check downs with Jalen Warren is still available. Pat Fryermuth, while not fantastic, is still a solid option. I'm going to go with Russell Wilson at Cincinnati.
I am
All right.
so ashamed of David this week right now, man. Come on, David.
I mean, not for nothing, and I'll be happy to be wrong on this one because the pick here for everybody is Russell Wilson. I'm looking at these and I'm thinking I probably want to have fun with Jameis Winston here. And I know he's playing Denver, and Denver's been a good defense, and he shut some teams down. I get it. Don't get me wrong. I get it. Jameis he might throw 3 picks, but he'll probably get you 2-3 touchdowns. And like for fantasy football, like you can throw a couple picks and suck out loud. I know Tillman's not there, but he's had some luck with Elijah Moore. He's had some luck with Jerry Jeudy. Njoku's still there. So like, I don't know. For me, I enjoy having to watch Winston play, so I would probably play Winston, and it's probably absolutely the wrong call over Russ.
Does it have anything to do with the fact that he was drafted by your team?
No, it has absolutely not. No, you know what it has to do with? Literally just watching clips of him talking about playing in the snow and going, okay, like he's
a goofball. You like the goofball.
He's the Forrest Gump. He's the Forrest Gump of the NFL, I think. Like he's lucked into this spot. He's having fun, and I love play. And for an opposite, like not really the same, but like I love watching Baker Mayfield right now because like so he's not being goofball, but you can tell he's enjoying when he goes out and plays. So I like that a lot, and part of that, I know fantasy football is about wins and losses, but like I also want to enjoy watching the games. And can you imagine you start Jameis and he goes out and beats Denver and what kind of stupid shit he's going to say? So anyway, but Bobby, the consensus pick was Russ Wilson. So that is the consensus. Also with pretty questionable, do you start Jennings or do you start Westbrook-Akine or do you start Cade Otton? He got distracted Thursday and left Monty on the bench. That's tough. Monty had a good, not great game. Like I think in the league I have him, he got 15 points. So it's not like it was bad, but it's definitely not like one of those, oh God, I left Monty on the bench for 40 point kind of games that you can have. But George, I'll start with you on that. If I'm assuming it's the same league because he talked about Purdy up above. Would you still start Jennings here, or are you switching over to what seems like a touchdown certainty at this point, which is, it can't be, but it seems like it every week with Westbrook-Akine or Cade Otton, who had a down week last week?
I'm going with Cade Otton. I really don't like a lot of the players in that 49ers Buffalo Bills game. We mentioned it earlier, like you're not. I said it earlier. If your team plays up north and there's potential for snow after Thanksgiving, you should have a dome. You can open the dome on Sunday, so you still get your elements, but you shouldn't have to have it to where there's snow in the stands. We've already seen it where fans have tried to affect the game by throwing snowballs or ice balls at the players on the field in end zones. We've had referees that have come out, and this is all just in Buffalo, by the way. Referees come out and say that if another fan throws a snowball at the players on the field in the game, that it'll be a unsportsmanlike penalty on the opposing team and a 15-yard penalty. Like that is not something that we should be having to deal with in 2024 while watching football or at the stadium as a fan or an opposing team's fans. I get, the elements that look nice, but they don't allow you to have the best product on the field. I'm downgrading every player in that game solely based upon the weather that we've seen there.
All right. I just got a warning that my mic is all screwed up. Can you guys hear me okay?
Yeah.
It's a little choppy, but yeah.
Okay. All right. So you've got Cade Otton. I'm going to go over to Mark and let him go next. I will ask, do you think Cade Otton not getting as good a score last week was because Mike Evans came back, so he didn't have to be the focal point, or do you think that's just a blip on the radar? They didn't need him.
I think it's a little bit of both, right? I mean, Mike Evans back is definitely going to cut into his target share, but then also against the Giants, like, I mean, they were blowing him out. They really didn't need him. So I don't expect him to be as bad, but I don't expect him to be as good as he was without Evans either. I actually have this exact decision in a league. I don't have Otten as a choice, but I have Jennings and Westbrook. And I'm actually going to flip Westbrook in there over Jennings this week just because of the weather. And to what George was talking about, I think they just need to start throwing these idiots out of the game. Like, kick them out of the stadium as soon as you see. I mean, you're not going to catch everybody, but as soon as you start seeing 5 to 10 people thrown out of the game, because somebody in the stands is going to see these guys, get them out of the stadium.
They don't have enough security to do that.
But as soon as they start seeing a couple of them,
Yeah, I mean, I guess you make an example of a few, and then maybe they back off a little. Listen, it's funny that they're doing that for snowballs, but like years past, Eagles fans are throwing full-on batteries. Forget snow; that doesn't affect anything or hurt anybody. But like full-on AA, AAA batteries.
You ever been hit in the face with a snowball? That shit hurts. I'm sorry. Don't say it doesn't affect anybody. Like, no, it does affect you. That stuff hurts.
It sucks, but I would much rather get hit with sno than batteries.
I was going to say a
battery. Well, how about an ice ball?
Just as bad.
Same thing.
Yeah.
Rich, who do you got? We got one for Akine. We got one for Otten.
Yeah, I'm going for Otten. Last week was just an anomaly and stuff like that. Otten's usually more involved in the game and stuff like that. So it is what it is last week. Let the past be the past, and let's move on with Otten.
All right, 2 for Otten, 1 for Akine. So, David, you tying it up, or you?
You get to break a tiebreaker because, yes, I'm tying it up. I went with the quarterback. I'm going to go with the wide receiver that's making the quarterback look good.
So here's what I would say here. If I could hedge, I would say, depending on what already happened with the games that have already been played, if you need a moonshot, my moonshot is Akine. If you need a floor, it's Otten. I will take. I'll probably go ahead and go Otten here because they're playing against one of the teams that's the worst against the tight end position. And I think Baker will have to throw it. I think they're playing on offense. They're playing better, and I don't think the Bucs fix their defense. The fix last week was playing against Tommy Cutlets and the Giants. That's not a permanent fix. They don't get to play him every week. With the Panthers playing better and Tampa's defense still being bad, I think Tampa's going to have to score, so I think they're going to go to Otten a decent amount. So I'm going to say Otten. But again, if you're in a deep hole, rather than taking the floor here, I would take Akine. But it's Otten for the group, and then it is pretty dependent on this week, especially because a lot of games have already been played. So a lot of you guys are already either up or down, and so you like I had a league where I started Dowdle and I started Keenan Allen, and I'm sitting pretty. I'd be playing Cade Otten, but I've got another league where I started CeeDee Lamb. I'm probably throwing in Akine in there because I need to chase some points. So Ham says here, if Breece Hall is out, do we play Allen or do we play Gus Edwards? I'll start with David because he made a face.
Yeah, that's because I forgot that Dobbins was out. Oh,
I didn't. He's in my main league. I'll start since we're getting baby incoming. I'll start with Mark.
I would go Gus Edwards, but I think Breece Hall is going to play.
Yeah, if Breece Hall plays, okay, well then that adds to the question. Even injured, if Breece Hall plays, we're all playing him, right?
I'm playing Breece Hall. Yeah.
I don't know if that's even part of the question, though. I think he's saying if Breece Hall is out, does he go with Allen or Edwards because he has those two?
Yeah.
And so what are you doing, Mark?
If Hall is out, I'm going Edwards. All
right, that's Edwards. Rich?
Man, if Hall's out, man, I am stamping Allen 100%, man. That kid is a freaking beast, and If it is, man, it's gonna be his game to shine. So, 100% Allen and stuff like that. Gus Edwards still has to compete with other running backs and stuff like that, even with Dobbins out. So, yeah,
I do worry a little bit about Gus because he doesn't catch the ball out of the backfield much at all, and that's where the Chargers have been doing real well on the ground, or with running backs. So, David, let's see what Burrow has to say.
She says Braylon Allen.
All right, that's 2 for Allen. 1. Am I breaking a tie, George? Or are you going Braylon Allen?
Justin just typed in the chat that Hall is expected to play. I would have 1,000% called Braylon Allen a legacy game just to make fun of Mark. For if Hall was out this week, but with Hall expected to play, I'm going to go with Gus Edwards.
All right, and then Justin, if you're able to do, you want the opposite of whatever Mark picked. He picked the Jets. So Justin is taking
Seattle.
the Seattle. All right. All right. Sorry, I was going to say if you can point out whether Hall is playing or not, you can give me an answer, but it looks like he did already. I just had to read down a little bit. So if Hall's out, our answer is going to be Allen. Look, Seattle is 22nd against the run. So I think he's a good play.
House divided.
But I think
And
mute. Yeah. The point's going to be moot because I think Hall's going to play.
so we've got Joe, we've got Burrow. Go ahead.
I'm sorry, David, but who made decision on which baby is which team?
Well, Dina just dressed. Oh, did you dress
Yes,
it today?
I did.
Yeah, it was my daughter, my older daughter.
I would just. Do they switch?
They haven't yet. I think every time he's always been in the Steelers and she's always been in the Bengals, and it's just crazy because they're both going to be Steelers fans. So,
All right, I'll leave.
I can't wait for them to grow up to be Ravens fans.
they'll move out.
Or
They can be
worse.
Browns fans. They can be
Or
Cowboys
worse,
fans.
Browns fan.
They could be anything else. If you're a Ravens fan, you're moving out.
Come on, you're not making Joe or Burrow leave.
Move out. They could live in the greenhouse.
Another disappointing Bears loss. So glad Eberflus is gone. Why would you run the clock down and not take a timeout? It's frustrating. It was nice. Yeah, you would have done a better job at clock management, wouldn't you, Burrow?
Burrow would have taken time out.
This is
Anyway,
Joe.
second half was nice to see from the Bears. All right, so I saw something. Who knows if it's true or not because it was on Reels, but it was from somebody on the NFL Network that said there have been 1,500 times in those types of situations where a team has had a timeout and been on their opponent's 30 or closer, and in all 1,500 times they either used their timeout or got a field goal kicker on the field, one or the other. This was the first time in 1,500 attempts. Neither one of those things has happened. Historically bad. Just historically bad. No question here. Just listen. The way Crana's season, the Chicago Bears season is gone with blocked field goals at the end of games, with Hail Marys, and now with this, tough to be a fan of the Bears this season, but they're close, and I don't know, I know there was high hopes at the beginning of the season for Bears fans. There was no chance they were going to get deep into the playoffs this year, so it's almost okay that they're losing. They need to upgrade that offensive line, something fierce. So hey, get a better draft pick, get the best tackle, get the best guard, be happy, go get a good player. So,
I don't want to take any blame away from Eberflus because he deserves 90% of it, but you got to put a little on Caleb as well. Like him sitting in the pocket there for 7 seconds while the clock ticks down without snapping the ball was ridiculous. But at the same time, when you see your quarterback struggling like that, it's the coach's responsibility to call a timeout there. But I think a little blame needs to be put on Caleb as well.
Well, it does go back to coaching for end of game scenarios too, and I don't doubt that they've done some of that, but obviously not enough to like drill it into Caleb's head. I mean, even the throw wasn't in the end zone. Like he didn't even wait long enough for the ball to get that. Like time's out. Like
Yeah.
what are you throwing it to the 10 for?
It was almost like he didn't know how much time was left on the clock.
Yeah. I mean, honestly, when I first watched it, there was a lot of bad decisions, right? Like, so they were on their like 4 or whatever when they started a drive, and they called a timeout versus allowing a delay of game. They wasted a timeout in the fourth quarter. Looking back, I guess it wasn't a waste because they weren't going to use it anyway. But instead of having a 2nd and 8.5, you ended up with a 2nd and 7. Who cares? Like, it's not like that extra 1.5 yards was going to get you the first down or whatever. The next throw was to I think Keenan Allen, who got 14 or something. So it didn't matter that. So calling a timeout in that situation versus just letting the clock run down, that's bad coaching. There's bad coaching on getting Caleb ready apparently, or he just panicked, which is possible too. He's a rookie, right? Like all of that's possible. But it was bad enough that the coach should get like to your point. You see, he's struggling getting the play run. You've got a timeout. Call it then. I looked down and thought they were out of timeouts, and it was only later. And I was getting ready to burn him on Twitter or X or Blue Sky or wherever you want for wasting timeouts before you got to that point, and then realized he actually had one. There's no excuse. Like that just.
Yeah, when they didn't call a timeout right away, honestly, what I thought they were going to do was get up there quick and have Caleb run a quick draw, and then immediately call the timeout.
Call the timeout and
couple extra yards for the field goal, but
they didn't even hurry.
No, not at all.
All right, go ahead, David.
Dina heard the Steelers Ravens children fan conversation, and she wanted me to add that they also are not allowed to be Chiefs fans. Apparently, Patrick Mahomes has scarred her enough that Chiefs fans they're not allowed to cheer for the Chiefs either.
How about the Rams?
Nobody cares about the Rams. They're not relevant.
I mean, they did beat the Bengals in the Super Bowl.
It's fair. So Dina says no. All right, so we talked about the Bears enough there. I feel bad for Crana week after week, but at this point, go ahead.
No, his team just stop making the news every week, and we don't have to talk about him every week.
Well, it'd be nice if they could just lose regular, so they get a better draft pick, but we don't have to like crap on them.
So what? And I feel like I know the answer to this, but what was worse? Eberflus and the Bears not calling a timeout at the end of the game, or the Bears organization allowing him to go out Friday morning, give an interview, do his normal media day interview. He was asked about this, and he said, "No, I'm confident I'm going to be remaining the coach." And then, like an hour later, we get a release that he's been fired after they made him do the interview. Like that's just a total, just dysfunctional organization from top to bottom right now.
I mean, listen, didn't they do the same thing to Mike Glennon? They had Mike Glennon headline their draft party. They signed him to a big deal, had him headline their draft party. Then they traded up and drafted. Who was the quarterback they took before Caleb?
Justin Fields.
No, it wasn't Fields. It was another terrible quarterback.
Oh,
I think it was the quarterback before Fields.
Trubisky.
You called him Mitch Trubisky.
Yeah, Mitch Trubisky. So the last 3 quarterbacks that the Bears have actually within their whole franchise history, every quarterback they've taken in the first round, the head coach got fired that season. Moral of the story: if you're whoever the next head coach is for the Bears, don't draft the quarterback in the first round ever. Just you want to keep your job, stay away from quarterback in the first round.
Well, unfortunately, because they're also not the GM, they might not have a say there. But
I think the coach has some say.
We've kicked the Bears enough. Their fans already feel bad, so we'll move on from that. Crana says, actually has a question here. Ingram, Njoku, Hunter Henry, Taysom Hill, or Hawkinson? Man, is anybody gonna be out of the flame? Oh, okay. Maybe it's two different questions. Sorry about that. So it's all tight ends. I thought it was all part of one. So we'll start Ingram or Njoku, and Rich, you haven't gone first yet.
I will be playing Ingram over Njoku.
Okay, so Ingram with Trevor Lawrence. David?
Yeah, if T-Law plays, I'm going to go Ingram. If he doesn't, I'm going Njoku.
So we'll assume, based off news reports, that it's Ingram, but we'll change that if we get something new. So, George.
I'm going to go with Trevor Lawrence coming back. I'm going to go with Evan Ingram.
All right, that's 3 for Evan Ingram, and then David.
I already went.
Sorry, Mark.
Yeah, I'm with Ingram with Lawrence back.
All right, so here's the big one: Hunter Henry, Taysom Hill, or Hawkinson. Can anybody sit Taysom Hill after last week's performance?
Nope.
No.
And it wasn't even just last week's performance. It's the current situation of that team.
Yeah.
All right, so we are on Taysom Hill. Crana, next question: Burrow or Mayfield, 6-point passing touchdown. Going to start with Mark.
This is tough because I don't really like Burrow's matchup this week. So I'm going to go Mayfield.
All right, Mayfield for Mark. Rich?
Yeah. Man, both of them same over and under 46.5. Yeah, I'm in the same boat. I'd rather have Mayfield against Carolina than Burrow against Watt.
All right, 2 for Mayfield. I'm assuming David's going to do the same thing.
Yeah.
I mean, you can only pick this against the Steelers so many times, I guess. George?
So I've got these guys number 2 and number 3 overall in my rankings of the quarterbacks that are left to play. With that, I've got Baker at 2 and Burrow at 3. It's really a coin flip. I would take the matchup with Mayfield, but like I said, you're flipping a quarter. They're 2 and 3.
I'm going to go to the next question a little bit. So we've got Baker here. Anybody playing Herbert over Baker? Since we're already on Baker.
I would, because according to my records, I got Herbert number 1. The 1, 2, and 3, it's Herbert, Mayfield, Burrow.
I'd be playing Herbert.
I'm actually starting Herbert over Burrow in a league. So
that's 3.
I'd probably still do Herbert over or Mayfield over Herbert.
All right, so that's 3-1. So for the next question, Crana, before we get to the rest of this question, for the next question, it's Herbert, Pollard, or Najee in a PPR. David.
Damn it.
Give you an opportunity to pick against the Steelers again.
Yeah, honestly, if this was Jalen Warren, I'd go Warren because I think this is the kind of game that he can excel in. But I'm going to go Pollard.
All right, Pollard, who's had a pretty good season despite Tennessee not being great. Got the thumbs up for Rich, so that's 2. George, you in on this train?
Oh, yeah. I've been on Pollard all year long.
Does his wife know?
She knows. He's been an absolutely phenomenal running back all year long. I'm going to go Tony Pollard.
I do not know if he's actually married or not, but Mark, go ahead.
I'm with Pollard.
All right, so there's Pollard. Pick 2, Shakir, Lad McConkey, or B-Rob Jr. George, go ahead.
So for me, it comes to McConkey or B-Rob. I think I'm going to go with McConkey here. But it's really close.
If you have Herbert 1 overall, you almost have to go McConkey here, right? David?
I'm going to
go.
So
you've got Shakir and McConkey.
Oh, pick 2? No, I've got McConkey and B-Rob.
Okay, I thought you were saying that you were.
No, I thought it was pick 1.
Okay. David?
Yeah, I'm going to do the same. McConkey and B-Rob.
Okay. Thumbs up from Rich. Mark?
Definitely McConkey, and I guess I'm gonna go B-Rob because of the weather. The only thing that scares me is him coming off that injury. I mean, if he I think it was an ankle, right? If he tweaks that again, I don't know. That would scare me. But
100% with you on that, Mark. The reason why I am is because of Eckler being out. So I have the same concerns, but with Eckler being out, that kind of makes it even a better choice as far as over Shakir.
Yeah.
All right, we are doing McConkey and B-Rob, Krana. We answered the first part of this question because we were talking about quarterbacks already, so we went Herbert. Now, Mooney or Jennings in a PPR? David?
Mooney.
That's Mooney. Rich? Justin.
Yeah, I'm going Mooney.
2 for Mooney. Mark?
Mooney.
3 for Mooney. George?
To the moon.
All right, Mooney. Final question. We'll start with George. Garrett Wilson or B-Rob Jr. PPR?
I'm going to go. I think I'm going to go Garrett Wilson here. I like B-Rob. But I think Garrett Wilson has the better game.
All right, Garrett Wilson. Dave?
I'm going to go B-Rob. I think it's tight, and I'm going to give it to the running back.
Tied. Mark?
I'm going Garrett Wilson. I picked the Jets to win. I think he's got to have a game for that to happen. And again, with the injury concern with Robinson, I think Wilson's good enough to make that swap.
And then Rich, you tying it up or you going?
Well, hell yeah, I'm tying it up.
All right, I am. I'm gonna go ahead and say Garrett Wilson. I think Seattle's defense is not very good, so we'll see if Rodgers was able to go into a dark room and figure himself out a little bit. Throw it to Garrett Wilson this weekend.
You think Rodgers finishes the season as the starting quarterback for the Jets?
I mean, unless he doesn't want to play anymore.
I think he's mad because I think he feels like he could have actually gotten like a high-level government position had he decided to retire. Like he'd be the head of the CDC or something at this point. So I think he's ticked off. But Garrett Wilson there. So another Crane question. Pick 2. Taylor, Chuba Hubbard, Ramondre Stevenson, Rashad White, and Gus Bus PPR.
Dude.
David, go ahead. You got to pick 2.
I'm gonna go Chuba. He's my number 1 here, and then I will go Taylor.
All right, 1 for Chuba, 1 for Taylor. I'm going to write these down because we might get a decent split. Rich, go ahead.
Yeah, I'm going to go Chuba and Taylor too.
Well, we might not get a split, but that's fine. Mark?
I'm going Taylor and White.
All right, 1 for White. White's been relatively usable, even though Bucky's kind of taken over the backfield. They're evening out the touches, which is frustrating as a Buck fan because it's pretty obvious that Bucky is more explosive when he gets the ball. So like, you don't have to even out the touches. Let's just keep with the explosive guy, but you also maybe don't want him to get worn out. He's not that big, so I guess I get it. But George, 2 for Chuba, 1 for White, 1 for Taylor, or 3 for Taylor. Sorry.
Yeah, so I think obviously Jonathan Taylor starts. He's got a phenomenal matchup. The other one, I'm staying within the same game. Give me Ramondre Stevenson against the Indianapolis Colts. I mean, indoors. This is in New England. But still, Indianapolis is 23rd against the run. Like, they're atrocious against the run. New England is 27th against the run. Give me those two quarterbacks in the same game.
All right, so 4 for Taylor. He's starting. 2 for Chuba. He's starting. 1 for White. 1 for Ramondre. And then, Krena, Marvin Harrison Jr. or BTJ in a PPR? I'm going to start with Rich on this one. We're going to assume Lawrence is playing because that's the reports we've been getting.
I am going. Let's see. I'm going M.A. Marvin.
All right, Marvin for Rich. David?
Yeah, I'm gonna not do that. I'm gonna go BTJ. Yeah, they're real close, and I like Marvin Harrison better, and I like his quarterback situation better currently. I just don't like his matchup even a little bit.
All right, so you went BTJ?
Yeah.
Okay, we're tied up. George?
I love Brian Thomas Jr., but of these two picks, I'm going to go with Marvin Harrison on this. And the reason why is because earlier today, the head coach for the Cardinals came out and said, Jonathan Gannon said that we're going to get him going today against the Vikings. So they realize they haven't really been using him as much, but they plan on getting him going today against the Vikings. So that's going to sway me because it is close.
All right, so you had Marvin Harrison, so that's 2 for Marvin. Are you tying it up, or are you going Marvin Harrison there, Mark?
I'm tying it up. I mean, I think they're both inconsistent, okay? But the thing with Thomas is he's had, like, Trevor hasn't played recently, and Marvin Harrison's inconsistency doesn't even, like, match up with the matchups. Like, against Seattle last week, like, he was pretty much non-existent. Seattle's secondary is awful. So, like, it just doesn't make sense. So, with Trevor coming back, I'm leaning towards Brian Thomas.
I'm going to take Brian Thomas here to unbreak the tie. It's rough for me because I have a lot of both of these guys in a bunch of different leagues. I am making this decision myself. I'm actually looking at it right now, and I'm starting Brian Thomas, and I'm probably going to bench Marvin Harrison for Terry McLaurin. Do we know if Snead is playing this week?
I don't.
Yeah, I don't know either.
Okay, I'll have to Google that before I make that change. But anyway, that's not pertinent to this question. We're going to take Brian Thomas 3-2. And then finally, 2 guys that everybody seemed to be down on at the end of last season. I mean, everybody's down on Sutton always, except for Rich. I think he's the 5th or 6th wide receiver overall in fantasy, depending on your format. JSN, who's been hot as of late, or Sutton, PPR. I'm going to give Rich the floor because he's an always Sutton guy.
Yeah, I mean, look, both are on hot streaks. Sutton is just on a better hot streak right now because he's Bo Nix has eyes for him, man. I know we've hit on this multiple weeks and everything between Nix and Sutton, but Sutton is a slam dunk for me.
Sutton for Rich. Mark?
It's JSN for me. I think that he's clearly stepped up as the number 2 receiver, and like he's had better games than DK in a couple of these over the last 4 weeks. So
I was going to say he stepped up as the number 1 receiver.
Yeah.
David?
I'm going to go Sutton.
2 for Sutton. Now, Mr. Bo Nix himself, George?
Yeah, I'm trying to look. I want to see where Sutton ranks on the season. My initial gut tells me Sutton, but that has nothing to do with Bo Nix being a competent quarterback. I mean, even Blake Bortles, who was an incompetent quarterback, made Allen Robinson look like a stud. So let's not pretend that it's the quarterback that makes the wide receiver. It's not. But I'm going to go with Sutton here.
All right, no tie. 3-1.
Hey,
I
quick
just
question.
got- I
quick
guess-
question. Go ahead.
Go ahead.
I know I got some college guys here and stuff like that, but I can't remember what game I was watching yesterday. But does Bortles' son play college, or is that a brother? Has anybody? He's a QB. Has anybody seen that?
Portal's son. No.
Oh, I'll Google it real quick. But we went with Sutton there, and while I Google that, we'll
Because Blake Bortles, the former NFL quarterback, doesn't have a son,
Okay.
but he does have a brother named Colby. I don't know.
Well, there was a QB yesterday playing. I can't remember what team it was, but the QB was Bortles. I was like, damn, Bortles already got a boy in the league.
So real quick, in PPR leagues on the season, JSN has scored 168 fantasy points. Cortland Sutton on the season has scored 167 fantasy points. So as far as per game and season long, these guys are back to back. Like they're literally less than 1/10 of a point separating them on the year. That's how good of a year Cortland Sutton has been. So I understand when you say you're a never Sutton guy, and we all know who I'm talking to, but you can't deny the fact that he's been absolutely balling this year.
yeah, it's nice when you finally get a decent quarterback. All right, better defense to start: Texans over Jags, or Commanders over Titans. Oh, or Bucks over Panthers. So we got Texans, Commanders, Bucks. David's shaking his head. He's saying no.
No, I mean it's the Bucks probably have the easiest matchup, although that's debatable because the Jags are hot garbage. But they just don't have a good defense, and the Panthers are playing better. I'd probably take the Texans over the Jags here.
All right, Texans for David. George?
I want to go Commanders over Titans.
Do you want to, or are you actually going to?
As of right now, I want to, and I'm going to.
All right, one. We got one for Commanders. We've got one for Texans. Rich.
I'm going Texans.
2 for Texans. And then Mark.
I'm gonna go Bucks. I take defenses out of your league.
All right, so we've got 2 for the Texans there.
Oh, before I forget, I just wanted to add one thing. I forgot. My buddy was up for the holidays from North Carolina. He used to live around here. But he said he tunes into this every Sunday, and he said he's like, I don't remember everybody's name on the show, but I love the one guy who every single week just goes off on Bo Nix and says how he's a horrible quarterback. I was like, yeah, that's
It's a smart man. That is a smart man right there.
We've got a shtick, and we're sticking to it.
It's not a stick. It's not a stick.
He'll be the most awful quarterback to ever win Rookie of the Year.
That's not true. That is not true.
PPR flex need only one: Addison, Dell, or Jennings. Start with George, who's probably over there Googling Rookie of the Year.
Yeah, that's exactly what I'm doing.
I'm going to slow down that momentum. Go ahead, George. Addison, Dell, or Jennings.
Addison,
who looked like the alpha last week, even over Justin Jefferson up in Minnesota. Mark.
Yeah, I'm going Addison. I'm sticking with the trend of staying away from receivers in the Buffalo 49ers game. So Addison for me.
All right, Rich.
Same.
Okay, and Dave.
I want to go Dell because I was a Dell guy all year last year. I was a Dell guy all year this year, and it's just making me a sad person. So I'm going to go Addison.
All right, Addison. It is. All right, I'm looking down every time I get a buzz to see if there's news on any of these players. Better running back waiver pickup, McNichols or Edwards? I'm going to start with David.
Edwards.
All right, Edwards. George?
Edwards, he's going to be a starting running back for the rest of the year, where McNichols he's only relevant right now because Austin Eckler's injured.
All right, Rich?
Yeah, it's Edwards.
Edwards, and then Mark.
Yeah, I mean, for me, this isn't even a question. Like George said, Edwards is the starter. McNichols is a backup, maybe for 1 week. I don't know.
All right. And then we don't have Justin here to answer this, so one of you guys will have to do your best. With Justin Tucker on bye next week, should I roster 2 kickers or drop him? He's sadly only been a regular kicker this year. I don't know. I think I answer this. I think you don't hold him. He's not having the type of season where you'd want to hold him through.
Unless you get points for missed field goals.
What the question is what other kickers are available? Who would you be dropping them for?
Well, I mean, you have to drop him. You have to start. I mean, you don't have to start somebody. You can get 0 from the kicker, but like, it doesn't.
You could drop another position.
Yeah, there you go. Drop Tucker. Justin is the kicker guru. Thanks, guys. Need to play 3 out of the 5 of these next guys. All right, let me get the pencil out. We've got Mooney, JSN, Ridley, Cooper, Devontae Smith. I'll start with George.
By the way, Bo Nix is definitely, if he wins Rookie of the Year, he will be the worst quarterback to have won it, but he will not have been the worst player to have ever won it. And I'll go with just recent football history. At one point, Eddie Lacy was Rookie of the Year.
I don't know. Like, I think he's going to have a better career than Robert Griffin III.
I don't think he will. I don't think he'll have a better career than Robert Griffin III. I don't think he'll have a better career than Sam Bradford. I don't think he'll have a better career than Vince Young.
I think he's already had a better career than Sam Bradford.
Nope.
Oh, come on.
Nope. Y'all forget how good Sam Bradford was before he blew his knee.
He was pretty good.
You forget how good Sam Bradford was before he blew his knee.
Sam Bradford.
Yep.
All right. We gotta get to this question.
The fact that it's even debatable that Bo Nix is at that level tells you how much Bo Nix sucks.
He's only at that level because you're saying
because he's Bo freaking Nix. That's why he's at that level.
I want a montage from all the shows of every Bo Nix sucks quote. I love it.
That's for your boy, Mark. That's for your boy.
All right.
Question: who was the first quarterback to win rookie? Okay, that's not a fair question. We'll go. Who was the second quarterback to have ever won Rookie of the Year? Because nobody here would have gotten Dennis Shaw in 1970.
What year was it?
I'm not giving you the year.
How about like 10 years?
It was in the 2000s. We'll
80s,
say that
70s.
2000s.
Okay.
So all of us know who this player is.
Rookie of the Year quarterback.
Big Ben.
Correct. That's why I wouldn't give you the year, because you being the Steelers fan, if I'd have said 2004, immediately you would have gotten it.
Let's see. All right, we got to get back to these questions. Sorry, I was looking up Sam Bradford stats.
So you're guilty of it.
George, give me 3 out of these 5. Mooney, JSN, Ridley, Cooper, Devontae Smith.
JSN, go Smith, and I'm gonna go. I want to go Kelvin Ridley. I feel like he's gonna have a game this week.
He's had a few.
He's had a few.
He's got all the targets except for the one touchdown every week to Westbrook.
That goes to Westbrook Akina. Yeah.
Rich.
Yeah, I'm same one. JSN, Ridley, and Devontae Smith.
David, I know you'll be different.
Yes, JSN, Mooney, and Devontae Smith.
You're breaking a tie, Jason.
All right, what you got?
I'm doing JSN, Smith, and Mooney.
Man, that's a tough one. I like both Mooney and Ridley. I like Ridley just a little bit more on my ranking, so I'm going to go Ridley with all the targets he's been getting. So we are doing JSN, Smith, and Calvin Ridley. My son says, hey. So good morning, Eli. If you guys want to say happy birthday to him a week early, but you can say it next week. I'll make him watch it while we're driving to Disney. That's fine.
I'll make him watch it. You will watch it and you will like it.
Bobby says ham is the best. I mean, there's a reason they don't put bacon on the plate for Thanksgiving, and that reason is they don't want it to overshadow literally everything else.
Correct. Absolutely.
Did we skip the rest of the questions on that last one?
We did. I'll go back to it. I got excited to talk about bacon. Need to play one, Bucky Irving, Stevenson, or Chubb. I'm going to start with David.
Irving.
There's one for Irving. Mark?
I'm with Irvin. I think both him and White feast in this game.
2 for Irving. George?
Yeah, no, this is going to be Ramondre Stevenson against one of the worst run defenses in the NFL.
All right. 2 for Irving. 1 for Ramondre. Rich?
I'm going to go Irving too.
All right. So Bucky Irving is the pick. Playing Barkley as his other running back, so it really doesn't matter. You got 2 running backs instead of 1 already playing. Better game, Eagles, Ravens, or Steelers, Bengals? David, are you guys, do you watch the games in the same room when this happens?
We do. So since when we first got together for the first 4 years, the Steelers beat the Bengals every single time. I remember the first time that they got close, I told Dina the next play was going to be a pass to Antonio Brown over the middle for a touchdown to end the game. And sure enough, it was. And we were actually in our bedroom, and she flipped the bed with me on it. So
she's strong. I've seen
Hey,
it.
what you guys do in the bedroom doesn't need to be brought to the show. I just want to throw that out there, okay?
I will say in Canton, you guys did break a bed. There wasn't football going on.
There wasn't anything fun going on either. We just sat on it and it broke.
I'd say that to the Airbnb people too, if that's what happened.
I mean, that's your lie. You tell it how you want.
We do watch the game together. She gets a little volatile if they're losing. We actually went to one game, and it was the only professional NFL game I've been to, and it was supposed to be my Christmas present. And we got blown out by 4 touchdowns, and Dina ended up so drunk she fell up the stadium stairs twice. Well, she was ecstatic. So,
all right. So I'm assuming you're going to say that game.
No, I'm going to go with the other game. The other game is a better game overall. The Bengals have been down this year. I mean, their defense is terrible. I just, if you look at the records, it's definitely the Eagles and the Ravens. I'm not going to be watching it because I'm going to be watching the Steelers and the Bengals. Although if they're on at separate times, I might watch them both.
All right. Justin says that Devontae Smith is trending towards not playing. If that's the case, then we would be JSN, Ridley, and Mooney.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Yeah.
So,
it's just not Cooper in the snow.
Exactly. Yeah. Justin should be the hashtag never Cooper guy, not the hashtag never Sutton guy.
All right.
A lot of his lessons plans done. He's chimed in quite a bit,
Does anybody Anybody think that the Cincy Steelers game is going to be better than the Eagles game? Eagles Ravens.
I think they're both going to be good.
Okay.
Like, this is asking me, do I want real fresh homemade apple pie or real fresh homemade pumpkin pie? Like, I want them both.
Yeah, they're both going to be good, but I would prefer to watch the Bengals Steelers game if I had to choose one.
That's because you don't want to see Mark Sirianni on the side because you want to punch him in the face, which is fine because that's just like every other NFL football fan. We all want to punch him in the face.
You're not wrong.
The tough part about the Devontae Smith is that it's a 4:00 game, so you basically will have to make that decision early or roll with Cooper, and I don't think any of us want to do that.
I also don't want to see Saquon Barkley after he ran for 300 on us last week. You know, seen enough of that.
Yeah, you guys, wow.
That's the problem with being in 20 leagues is there was one league where Saquon went off, I was going to lose, and there was another league where I needed Saquon to go off or I was going to lose. So, you know, it was a good and a bad thing when I saw what he did. It hurt me real bad in one league, but it won me another one. So
at that point, you're just ranking which league is more important to you.
I do. I rank it based on how much money goes into that league.
Exactly.
Hey, Jason.
Or your chances in that league.
Yes.
You know, go ahead, George.
I got another reason for you to list of your things on why you don't watch college football.
Okay.
Because Ohio State is 10-2, and people want the head coach fired. What are we doing? What are we doing? They're 10-2, and they want the head coach fired.
It doesn't matter.
It's the rivalry. Michigan versus Ohio
every
State. If
single
you
game.
can't beat your rival, you don't deserve to be a coach.
Michigan.
Listen,
I would say the same thing as a Michigan coach. If we were undefeated and lost to Ohio State every single year, I would want that guy gone.
Which is why college football sucks.
No, it's why the rivalries are just phenomenal.
I mean, listen. I can't watch 10 weeks of football of Ohio State playing Jacksonville State Girls College for clowns or whatever to get to the one Michigan State Ohio game every year. I just can't do it. Like, there's one good game every week, and I'm sorry, like it's not enough.
That's changed.
Also,
with the divisions packing the way they are, there's a lot more good games every week.
Also, I will say that the calls for firing I've seen have been more about him standing there watching his players go fight at the 50 and not being a leader of men and trying to get them pulled off the field so they don't get suspended. That's what I've seen the arguments as far as, like, not that he's lost the locker room, but he didn't do anything. It was a full
in that rivalry. If I was the coach, I'd have been getting a fine because I'd have been in there swinging too. Screw these Ohio State guys.
Yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and plant my flag on Jason's comment.
Yeah, I mean,
what Jason is saying is he doesn't want to watch the Bills versus the Jaguars for 9 straight weeks just so he can get to the Bills versus the Kansas City Chiefs in 1 week. That's not entertaining to him.
I mean,
don't watch the first
how many
4 weeks of the
awful
season.
games do we all watch on Thursday night just because it's the only NFL game on?
Do you know how many Thursday night games I watch if they don't involve the Dolphins? 0. I am playing Call of Duty. I am playing Diablo. I am watching a movie with the family. I am not watching a Thursday night game live. I'm checking my phone. I'm looking at stats, but I am not actually physically watching the game because it is crap.
Yeah, let's talk about Thursday night. Let's talk about Thursday night. Move it to Saturday and make it 40 irrelevant games for the 1 or 2 decent ones. I get it. Listen, people love college football. They think it's more passionate. They think there's players playing for the game, although now they're getting paid too. So I don't know if that's true or not.
They're definitely getting paid for sure.
Well, no, I know
NIL
that's
is a
true.
thing.
That's legal. That's legal now. I'm just saying, like, I don't know.
Yeah,
I
but
don't know
they've
if they're
always
more
been
passionate. I
They've
don't know
always
if
been
their
getting
players are more
paid.
passionate anymore either. But I get why people like college. I'm just not one of those guys. It's not me. I've tried. I love football, so I try every form of it, the XFL, UFL, the NFL, you give it to me and I'll try it. But a lot of these games,
it's hard to get into college if you don't have a team to support.
And listen,
trying to jump in without a team, You don't have the passion.
Can I ask you, David, what college did you go to?
I went to a few. Only one of them has a football team, and that would be UC Cincinnati.
And then Mark, which college did you go to?
A local college here, Elmira College.
So like you guys picked
be a fan because I didn't go to that college. Like, did you go to Tampa Bay?
They've been the closest. They've literally been the closest.
Like them, or I mean, Michigan was on ABC every single week since I was like 2 years old. Like they were always on TV. That's why I watched them. That's how I became a fan. I mean,
I guess I became a fan because Wolverine was my favorite superhero, and I was 7 when I picked him. But I've been faithful with him for 33 years.
That is sound logic, David. That is sound logic. That's how you describe how you became a Michigan fan. I was a fan of Wolverine
when I was 7 years old. Okay.
I'm agreeing. It sounds like I'm making fun of you. I'm not.
Animal that was a Wolverine.
It sounds like I'm making fun of you. I'm not, dude. I'm 100% sold. I am on board with that logic.
That sound. Listen, I like David's answer more than I like Mark's answer because
for sure
Mark's answer is the reason why there were so many Braves fans or Yankees fans or Dallas fans or Giants fans or
Notre Dame fans.
And I'm a Braves fan. So
of course you are.
That's because
the Braves, Michigan, the Rams. Dude is not loyal to nothing around him.
No,
but that's because
I don't like a single New York team.
But that's because Mark watched TBS and not WGN growing up because he'd be a Cubs fan.
Yeah.
So I think it's probably a mix of like what team was winning that you could watch most often. Because back when we grew up, the Cubs sucked like all the time. So you could watch them, but they were terrible. So, I get why you picked the Braves, Maddox.
My grandmother was a huge Braves fan. It was always on TV. Like whenever we'd go over to her house, it was always the Braves game. From when I can remember, it's just how it was.
It's not because you like Turok the dinosaur hunter.
That game was badass though. Turok was badass on the 64.
I'm just saying you could have liked the Braves for that. Anyway, I gotta get back to the questions. If I can find them. Dustin is throwing
Raiders game.
Fixed. We did talk about it earlier. I don't think it was.
It's fixed. I'm on board with it being fixed.
Listen, I had the Twins, and I was watching the game, but obviously also watching the Twins. They're both crawling now and freaking everywhere. And so I actually missed the play that everybody is talking about. I had to go Google it later. But just the way the refs acted made it feel fixed. Not the play itself.
I do feel bad for the center, because everybody blamed him at first, and then they finally showed the video where the guard, did the hey, we're getting ready to snap, go. And so he, if you don't know, the guard will tap the center, and that's the trigger. Like, okay, after the tap, you got 1 second, and then you snap the ball. The guard tapped the center snapped the ball. Quarterback wasn't looking for the ball at the moment, and fumbled. So
that center is who I wanted the Dolphins to draft too, JPJ.
I wanted him to get to the second round to Tampa, and the Raiders grabbed him. But, I think he's been playing relatively well. I think that was obviously a bad move there. But again,
Rich,
not so much on
playing?
him.
What are your thoughts on your guys' center?
Jackson Powers Johnson.
Yeah,
dude. Look, I'm gonna put it this way, and I'm gonna say 3 things on this game real quick. Okay. So first of all, I had to take my son. Me and my son went to Walmart yesterday to get his oil changed, and we were sitting in the lobby waiting for watching this. I was watching the game on my phone, and I see him drive down and everything, and they're right down there, and I'm like, dude, it's a wrap. It's a game. I go, we do this every year, and Keegan goes, Dad, you're gonna jinx it, and sure enough, the damn next play that happens. That ain't even the bad part. Bad part is not even 5 minutes after the game is over, we're still sitting there, and I'm pissed off at the world. This old lady, bless you, comes, sits down and stuff like that. Doesn't say anything, and first thing she does, turns around and looks at us. She goes, "Hey, do we know how the Kansas City Raiders game ended?" And my son Keegan, he goes, "Yeah, Dad. Do you know how that game ended?"
I like your son a lot.
I love your son.
Yeah. So, and then the next thing, here's the other two things. Okay, as bad as the season is, I am so happy because who we drafted in the first round and the second round. Those two players right there are going to be the stable of our team going forward. And Brock Bowers, dude, what a hit there for everybody that was saying, "Oh, why the Raiders take the freaking tight end at that position and stuff like that." Hey, it goes to prove right there. Hey, maybe we should be taking the best player available on the board for some of these teams and not just drafting to fill a position and everything, because now he's going to be the future of the team. And then the last thing I'm going to say on this, and Mark will back me 100% on this, beginning of the season and stuff like that, what did I say? You should have started out with O'Connell at QB, and the season would have been completely different.
100%. Two things I just want to add to that game. One, as painful as it probably was for Raiders fans, like, they did you a favor. Like, winning that game would have been awful. You would have passed the Giants for the first overall pick. You don't want to do that. Two, as far as it being fixed, I had two bets on that game. I had the Raiders kicker over 5.5 points. And how many field goals did he miss? 3. And he ended at 5 points, a half point away. And I also had over 36.5 on that game. What did the game end at? 36, a half point. Vegas knows this shit. I'll tell you that.
Here's what I'm going to say is maybe you want to pass the Giants because you know they're going to pick the wrong guy. So you'll let them pick the wrong guy first, and then you know who you're taking. You know they're going to screw it up.
I was going to say, taking best player available is nice and all, but if you guys don't take a quarterback at the top of the draft next year, then that's a bad decision. I don't care who you pick up.
Okay, what if we ended up going with the receiver corner from Colorado instead of yep?
Yeah, no, you need a quarterback.
Is that a bad choice?
No, it's not a bad choice.
It's not a bad choice, and here's why. This upcoming year's quarterback class is extremely weak. Extremely weak.
There is no Bo Nix in this draft class. You're right.
Yeah, no, they're definitely better than Bo Nix. There's nobody that bad, but it's still a weak class overall. You're better off waiting until 26 to get your quarterback. That class is going to be loaded with quarterbacks.
The real issue with that is, as good as this wide receiver cornerback could be, they had Devontae Adams. That got them where they are now. Yeah, they made the trade a couple games ago. It's not like that won or lost them any games. Like another wide receiver yes, younger, great. But you're not a wide receiver away from being relevant.
We're not drafting him to be a receiver. We're drafting him to be a corner. The last time a player played two ways, wide receiver and cornerback, and won the Heisman Trophy, who was that player?
Charles Woodson.
There you go.
Yep.
And Travis Hunter's already said he's playing both sides of the ball when he comes to the NFL.
The Raiders will allow that.
The thing is, he's just as good at cornerback as he is at receiver. He's a top 10 on both sides of the ball.
Yeah, he portrays as a professional cornerback from everything I've seen. But he wants to play both positions and is fully capable of doing so. The problem is you're just going to spin your wheels for a year of having him because you don't have a quarterback who's going to be able to do anything.
All right. I do have to jump down. I have to jump down a little bit. College football is too damn slow. It's like watching turtles ice skate. Caleb Williams looked good in college because the defenses were slow. Kicking Crandall when they're down, it's not great. Aiden O'Connell has one decent game, and suddenly Rich has another built-in excuse. Rich, I'll let you respond to Mom on that one.
That's my comment.
We'll just leave that up for a minute. All right, we're going to get to Dustin's question here. We beat around the bush enough. Morning, fellas. Should I start Westbrook Akine, Noah Brown, Gus Edwards, or David Moore in my flex full PPR? I'm going to start with Rich.
Yeah, so on this question here, I've already answered this question for him, but I'll just kind of break it down. I think a lot of people are going to go with Gus Edwards on this. I'm actually going to go odd out here and say David Moore. He had a good game last week, and I can see it being more consistent with them getting rid of some of their receivers. And I know freaking Thielen has a feel in his back and everything, but I do like David Moore and the chemistry he's had with Bryce Young. So,
David Moore's following Dave Canales around the league. He was there in Seattle with him, came to Tampa, had a couple of decent games with Tampa when they needed him last year, and then went up to Carolina, knows the system pretty well. So it's not a surprise to me that he looks okay. He looks pretty decent doing that. Mark, what do you got?
For me, it would be more like, what do I need? If I need a floor, I'm going Gus Edwards. If I need a ceiling, I'm probably leaning Westbrook Akine. Gus Edwards is probably the safest out of all of them. So not knowing the situation, that would be my answer.
All right. George?
If you ask me who's more likely to get a touchdown this week of all of this group, I'm going to say it's Gus Edwards. So that's where I'm going to go.
All right, Gus Edwards. So one for Gus, one for Kine, one for David Moore. David?
I'm pretty sure it was 2 for Gus. I think Mark said if without knowing the situation, he would go Gus.
Well, he said Gus, but Rich said, oh, okay, you're right. I guess it's 2. No, you said Gus. Okay, so 2 for Gus.
2 for Gus, 1 for David Moore.
I'm going to tie it up, and it's more about the defense that David Moore is facing as opposed to anything else. Sorry, Jason.
Yeah, no worries. They're terrible. I think they both have a pretty safe floor. I didn't think I'd have a David Moore question this week. And I'm totally going to have to pick somebody here. I think the Falcons defense has been relatively soft. I'm going to take Gus Edwards. And we'll move on to the next part of the question. We're going to talk about kickers again. Will Lutz or Tyler Bass as kicker, please and thank you. Hit like and subscribe. Yeah. If you're watching on YouTube, hit like and subscribe. That's great. Thank you, Dustin, for reminding me. Like and subscribe. Also, patreon.com/toilets to titles. We got the $2.99 tier all the way up to the tier where Rich will come over to your house and jinx your game for you. We've got tiers for every salary. So patreon.com/toilets titles. David, you're flipping a coin. I know we're talking about the weather in the Tyler Bass game.
I was going to say, I don't think we need Justin for this one. If we're avoiding receivers because of the weather, we're definitely avoiding the kicker in the game. I'm going Lutz.
Yeah, listen, this is how little I care about kickers is I flipped a coin without even actually looking at who the kickers were or what team they were on, and it did come up Tyler Bass, but when I realized that he's Buffalo's kicker, I changed my mind, so go Will Lutz.
All right, we're going Will Lutz. Also, Sleeper has updated Breece Hall to healthy, which usually means that he's absolutely going to play. It's not official, but Sleeper saying he's healthy means he's probably going to get that start. So, okay, is anybody going with Tyler Bass? Anybody care enough to do that? No. Okay. Nope. All right, so we got our kicker question out of the way. Blurpy says Chubb or ETN or look to waivers, full PPR. George.
I'd probably go Chubb here, but I'm also kind of curious, what is on your waivers that's better than Chubb or ETN? Blurpy, if you could give us an idea of what's available on the waivers. If there's something better than those guys on the waivers, absolutely, let's do that. But let's give us an idea of what's available.
All right, David.
Yeah, out of these two, I'd go Chubb. But again, I look at the waivers regardless every week. So, look at the waivers. Obviously, if there's somebody better, pick them up. But Chubb, out of these two, it's Chubb for me.
Mark?
Yeah, I think it's Chubb. I mean, he had a great game against the Steelers in what should have been a bad matchup for him. So
I'm trying to find ETN's weekly fantasy points.
it hasn't been good.
Yeah, it has not been good at all.
No, I think I said this last week too. Because I'm pretty sure you can find somebody on waivers that can get you 3 or 4 points. He's projected for 7.6. Yeah, I know he's been injured and Tank Bigsby's been eating to the work, but like, man, he's been bad. He hasn't caught the ball. I think you can probably find somebody off waivers better than ETN, but Rich, you going Chubb?
Actually, no, I'm going ETN here. Man, Chubb's playing against the Broncos, man. Their defense has been good against the run. Yeah, I'm going ETN. I'm going to take a shot that he just outproduces Chubb this week. I just don't like Chubb's matchup.
All right, we've got 2 for Chubb, 1 for ETN. George, I haven't got to you yet, right?
No, I went with Chubb, but I also asked him for what's available.
Oh, you went Chubb. Who? Mark, have I not called on you yet?
No, I went Chubb.
Sorry, I was okay. Did I call on everybody and we went 3 Chubb, 1 in ETN? Okay. Well, that makes me feel better. I was too busy looking up ETN to remember who went. And then Texans, Colts, or Jets defense. Rich.
Jets defense.
It's Jets. Mark.
Jets defense.
2 for Jets. David.
I'm going to go Texans.
2 Jets, 1 Texans. George.
Yeah, I'm going Texans as well. Jacksonville's a horrible team. Go with the Texans defense.
Yeah, I'll break the tie and say Texans defense there. Let's see. We'll get to Justin's questions. I'll get to this question for Dustin. What tier do I need to be at to have you guys come help my wife and I move the week before Christmas? Where do you live, Dustin? That does factor into the cost. So let us know where you live and we'll see. But talk to Justin. Justin will get you the tier level. He's the boss on the tiers. So, but you guys decide if there is a tier level that's that we can get to. I know Rich can do it. Rich has got this.
Heck no. At freaking Christmas week, the week before New Year's, that's like one of our biggest weeks of the year, man.
That's right. You have chip bags now to fill for Christmas. I forgot.
That question popped up and David turned his video off. He ran away.
My dogs were barking. I had to go let them in because Dina's feeding the babies. So,
all right, back to Justin. Tajay Spears, Westbrook Akine, Gus, or Taysom or Goddard? One right. Oh, he asked this is weird. 1 running back, 1 tight end, and a flex. So let's do running backs. Spears, Gus. I think that's it. Anybody doing Spears?
No.
Okay, so Gus is your answer. 1 tight end, Taysom or Goddard?
Taysom.
Now, keeping him
asking this
Smith's not playing. I'm going Goddard.
Yeah, I mean, keeping in mind you can still play Taysom as your flex. So if you wanted to go Goddard, you could flex in Taysom over Westbrook.
My 3 are going to be Gus, Taysom, and Goddard. So
same here.
Everybody agreed? Okay. Seems like a full-on agree there. So Gus, Taysom, and Goddard. Justin is asking Chubb, Harris, or Mooney. David.
it's Mooney.
Mooney for David. Rich.
Harris.
Harris for Rich. David picking against the Steelers again. Mark.
Mooney for me.
2 for Mooney, 1 for Harris. George.
Think I'm gonna go Harris.
So we tied it up. I'm gonna go with the Steelers fan and take Mooney over Harris. So Mooney over Harris. 3-2.
Hey, Justin or Jason, real quick
Yes,
down
sir.
here. Dustin lives in northeastern Pennsylvania, which I believe is close to New York. So that would be up in Mark's
That's Mark's territory. Yeah. Wasn't there somewhere?
I would volunteer to come help, but we have this thing down here in Florida. If it gets below 60, our governor declares state of emergency. The entire state has to shut down. Nobody's allowed to leave their house. He's a total dictator down here in Florida. So I can't do it because I'm assuming at this time of year it's probably colder than 60.
Oh, it's freezing. I'm in the garage right now in the south of Ohio with a heater. That's why I'm turned sideways, because there's a heater right here keeping my feet still shivering out here.
Yeah, I know exactly how you feel right now, David. I'm in a converted garage. There's no heat here. Let me tell you exactly what our current weather is.
I'm gonna hate you.
Right now it's 68 and sunny. It's freezing. It's freezing in this room. My hands are.
It's 29 degrees here.
It's going to be 50 to 52 is the high here, and I'm actually going golfing at 1 o'clock.
It's nice when your team loses on Thursday instead of Sunday. You can go spend the day playing golf.
The high today is 32 here. So the high today is freezing.
Yeah, I totally get you. 68 here. It's can't handle it.
I can't stand you.
We talked about this, but like that snow game, George, every time we go up to Ohio in the summer, says I could live up here.
It's beautiful.
And I messaged him during the snow globe game and said, no, you obviously can't. You can't do that.
I do know what you're talking about, though. Like, I went to California and it was 60 degrees, and everybody out there, I mean, there were legit people in sweaters. I mean, they still had shorts on, but they had sweaters on in 60-degree weather. And I'm just like, I was hot and comfortable. Yeah, the 60 degrees is perfect for me.
I'm putting a hoodie on at 60 degrees.
Long sleeve shirt. I'm wearing a long sleeve shirt inside. It's cold in this house.
You can survive here.
Right? Justin's asking Westbrook Akine, MVS, PPR, different league than the other Akina question. So, very similar players here. Do we want MVS? Do we want Westbrook Akine, George?
MVS, the way he's been playing, give me MVS.
Rich is nodding, so that's 2. David?
Yeah, I think I'm going to go MVS here.
It's 3, and then Mark closing it out.
Yeah.
Okay, that's everybody picking against the sure thing touchdown guy. Justin says, Tajay or Jalen Warren. Is anybody going Tajay?
No, it's Jalen Warren.
Pollard hurt, and I just don't know it. Is that why we keep getting... Is that why we're getting these questions? I don't think he is. So, let's see. This is the one where he wanted to pick opposite of Mark. George put one in our chat. Kincaid, Hunter Henry, Jay Johnson, Standard League.
Juwan Johnson from the who's Viper Saints.
Saints, yeah. Kincaid, Hunter Henry, or Juwan Johnson. Mark.
Hunter Henry for me.
Yeah,
Rich went Hunter Henry. Dave went Hunter Henry. So that's a
clean sweep.
default
Okay.
there.
I'll let him know. Somebody had asked me, and I told them I'd ask you guys.
One more question. Keep 2. Cortland Sutton, Adams, Pickens, JSN, Pittman. He needs a minimum of 15 points PPR. Is that
So he means
combined or each? Sorry, who said what now?
I think he meant pick two, not like a keeper league. Because obviously,
Yeah.
what he needs this week.
All right, pick two of these guys. Go ahead, David, since you had to explain it to me.
I mean, it's Pickens 100% out of these. He's gonna get the moon balls. That's my favorite out of these, and then I'm probably going Cortland.
All right, Sutton and Pickens. Mark, whose balls are you taking?
I passed.
You're the throwing guy. We know you don't pass.
Had to ask the groin expert that way, huh, Jason?
I did. Go ahead, Mark. Who you got?
I think I'm going JSN and Cortland.
All right, I'm gonna start writing it down. So we got 2 for Sutton, 1 for Pickens, 1 for JSN.
Sutton's a must start because I'm going to go Sutton and Sutton and JSN.
All right, and Rich.
Yeah, I'm going Sutton and JSN.
All right, so we are starting Sutton and JSN.
You can make that board bet that Pickens outdoes both of those two.
Let's do it.
Pickens versus both? Okay.
Yep.
Not combined, right?
Not combined, no. But he does better than Cortland and JSN.
Nah, I'll take that.
Justin is saying, trying to put lesson plans. Don't watch, especially that last comment about Mark. If Hall is out, Vidal or Bigsby in a
Hall's not out.
PPR. Yeah, Hall's not out. So this is moot.
I would go. I would still go Bigsby if Hall is out, but he's not, like you said, so it doesn't matter. Never mind.
George likes to answer questions that don't matter.
Aren't actual questions.
Yeah, pretty much any. George doesn't like doing anything we're supposed to do. Russ or Jaden Daniels? Right, George, since you like to answer.
Oh, this Jaden Daniels. Come on now.
Jaden Daniels. David shaking his head. Gonna pick against the Steelers again.
Yeah, and it's stupid too because Jaden Daniels has actually struggled the last few weeks, but I'm still going to go with him.
Tennessee is a get-right game for him.
Yeah.
Rich.
Tennessee is not a make-right game for him. I'm going Russ. Jaden, he just, I don't know, it's different in the beginning of the year and everything, and I don't know. Titans defense has really stepped up in certain games and stuff like that and played some decent defense. So I'm going Russ.
You guys keep going Russ. It just makes me feel great. I'm not going to do it, but you guys do it. It makes me happy.
All right, that's 1 for Russ. That's 2 for Jaden Daniels. Mark?
I'm still going Daniels. I mean, he has struggled recently. He even struggled in the Cowboys game until he threw an 80-yard touchdown pass at the end of the game. But he just finds ways to get it done, even in games he's struggling. So,
yeah, you want to talk about crappy endings to a game?
Yeah, that game.
Them scoring the Commanders scoring 80+ yard touchdown, only to miss the extra point and have to kick an onside kick just for the Cowboys to run it back for a touchdown. That's a crappy.
That game was crazy. That Turpin run back looked like a glitch in a video game. Like he just.
I told her I've never seen an onside kick return for a touchdown ever.
I need Krenna to do this. Okay, now Krenna, now that your ears are covered, that's how the Bears are going to lose next week.
And not only was it an onside kick return for a touchdown, it was the wrong move. Like he shouldn't have returned it for a touchdown. He actually gave them a chance by doing that.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, it was fun. Let's see. That's why the NFL is so much better than college.
No.
Brandon Williams said, even a game like that where nobody likes it. Great ending. PPR wide receiver 2 and tight end Harrison Jr. or Lockett, Andrews, and Ertz. Let's do wide receiver. I mean, it has to be Harrison Jr., right? There is no upside with Lockett lately. JSN has made him irrelevant. Everybody's nodding. Yes, Harrison Jr. All right. Now Andrews and Ertz. Let's go with Rich. Andrews or Ertz?
Well, it's funny. I got both of these guys in a league where I got two tight end positions. I play Andrews and Ertz, except this week I benched Andrews for Taysom Hill. So my answer is Ertz.
Okay, Ertz. I mean, if you need 8 receptions for 30 yards, Ertz is your man.
He's scored
David.
a touchdown too.
Yeah, last couple of weeks he's gotten a touchdown. You're right. He has. David?
I'm going to go Ertz.
2 for Ertz. Mark?
I'm going to go Andrews.
All right, Andrews. George?
The way Mark Andrews is playing, he decided to come out of the shell and play phenomenally at the end of the year. I'm going to go Andrews.
That's tied up. I mean, it's a ceiling floor thing for me. If you need a ceiling, I think Andrews is your ceiling guy. Ertz is your floor. But I'm not going to cop out. I'll actually answer it, and I'm going to play Ertz. He's just he gets a lot of targets. He's involved, so I'm going to say Ertz. PPR. Connors, Walkers. I'm assuming Kenneth Walker. I'm assuming it's Kenneth Walker. Are we doing Connors or Walker? I'm going to start with David.
Connors.
He might be freezing over there. I don't know. Rich?
Oh, man. I'm going to leave Connor too, but it's close.
And then David. Mark.
I think I'm going Walker. I think the Jets' rush defense is pretty bad.
Okay, 2 for Connors, 1 for Walker, and then George.
I'm going Connor. They just paid him. He's going to go out there and show why they paid him.
All right, and then Joe says, "Good morning. Hope everyone had a happy Thanksgiving." We did.
Sorry, I'm reading down the comments.
And then Justin says, "Bo Nix is the real reason I can't do the show anymore. Because of him, I can no longer say never Sutton." Let's see. Trying to get past some of the conversation here. Better QB wide receiver combo this week: Stroud Collins, Daniel Scary Terry. George.
Easy question. Come on.
Daniels and Terry.
All right, Rich.
Maybe not that easy. Stroud Collins. Collins is a better receiver.
No, he's not.
David.
Damn. It's real even to me, but I'm going to go Stroud Collins. I just feel like the Titans are playing a little bit better right now, and the Jags are hot garbage. So,
Mark, before you answer and possibly tie this up, I'll have you know that Justin beat me and Frank and took Nico Collins, which means he's in for he's going to be healthy the rest of the season, and he's in for a giant game, at least this one. So who you got, Stroud Collins or Daniel Scary Terry?
Well, it depends what the question's asking. If it's what 2 players are going to score more, I think it's going to be Daniels and Terry. But I think the connection between Stroud and Collins is going to be more than Daniels to Terry.
And then if you like, so Collins, I guess
score more points than Terry.
So do we would you guys give up the stack to play Daniels and Collins here? I think I would, right?
I would. Yes.
Like I wouldn't stick with the stack to have a stack.
Right.
So, but big week from Nico incoming. You guys heard it here first. Kyler or Darnold this week, George?
Going Kyler. I'm not even sure what kind of question that is.
All right. Rich.
Yeah, Kyler.
2 for Kyler. David.
Going Darnold.
All right. That's what kind of question it is. Mark.
I was going to say, I think Darnold outscores him this week. I just do.
I actually have Sam Darnold ranked 1 spot ahead, so I'm going to stick with my rankings and go Sam Darnold. Krina says Pittman, Addison, Judy, or Pop Douglas. Pick one in a PPR. Rich.
Addison.
Addison for Rich. Mark.
Yeah, Addison.
2 for Addison. David.
Yeah, it's Addison for me.
And then George.
Judy.
All right, 3-1. I like Judy. I am worried about playing against the Broncos, although it is a revenge game. So he can get revenge for being so shitty on the Broncos.
I think he will get that revenge. I think Judy's going to have a good game too. Those two are real close for me. So
I don't know if I've asked this, but Otten or Taysom here?
Taysom.
Taysom. I think we all did. Yeah.
Oh, didn't mean to do that. Sorry.
No worries. Flowers, Higgins, Adams. Start Allen in the snow or Jaden 6 point. Okay. So Flowers, Higgins, or Adams. Rich.
I am benching Higgins.
Okay, Mark. Of the 3, who are you benching?
Adams.
You're benching Adams. George.
Benching Adams.
Okay, 2 benching Adams. David. That's 3 benching Adams. Okay. And I'll stick with David. Allen or Jaden, 6 point passing touchdown.
Jaden.
Rich.
I can't. I'm not going away from Allen. I don't care if it's snow or not. He's going to get a ground game.
All right, Mark.
Yeah, if you have Allen, it's too hard to bench him. I guess I decided my question from earlier too.
All right, and George.
Yeah, this is easy. You don't bench Josh Allen if you have him, unless it's really, really snow conditions on the field, and you have a much better option in Jaden Daniels going up against the 23rd ranked defense against opposing quarterbacks. Then you can bench him for Jaden Daniels.
All right. Andrew Miller says Russell Wilson or Bryce Young.
Wasn't that a tie?
No, I think 3 people said Allen.
Three said Allen. I was the only one that said Daniels.
I said Daniels.
2 people said Daniels.
Oh,
okay,
2
then,
people said Daniels. Okay.
I'm taking Allen then. So 3 for Allen, 2 for Daniels. Russ Wilson or Bryce Young. David.
Or Trevor Lawrence, it says, but I mean, you guys finally got me to say Russell Wilson, so.
Russell Wilson, George.
For the second quarterback in the Superflex, yeah, you can go Russell Wilson here. That's fine.
Okay. Rich?
Yeah, same.
Mark, you're not going to take Bryce Young playing against the terrible Buccaneers, the 31st ranked Buccaneers defense?
Russell Wilson.
All right, Russell Wilson. There's your jinx. We finally got it in. But guys, this is the point we've gotten to. I'm going to go with Mark first, and then I'm going to go to David. Kyron Williams or Chase Brown? No, you know I'm going to go. I have to.
Whoa. Who do you have that you can in your flex or second running spot that you
answer the question, Mark? Answer the question. Kyron Williams or Chase Brown?
It's Chase Brown.
You are such a homer.
I mean, let's be honest. Kyron has taken a severe downtick. The Rams have been throwing the ball a lot more. I still want to find a way to get Kyron in my lineup, but if you're telling me you have such a stacked lineup that you can't play both of them, then it's Chase Brown.
David, are you going Chase Brown or are you going Kyron?
I'm going Kyron.
You're off.
Okay.
I'm on my island by myself. Chase Brown is mine.
Rich?
I'm going Kyron.
I have to say, Mark is the Chase Brown guy. He's taken him over a player on his own team. And this isn't like some reverse jinx like Russell Wilson thing you got going on today. Where you so all right, so Chase Brown is marked. George?
I'm going Chase Brown.
I'll break the tie and say Kyron, and we can move on.
If you're still in here, tell me your running back 2 and your flex position if you have one that you're starting over these guys.
He has Mixon, A-Chain, Kyron, and Chase Brown, and A-Chain's already played.
Okay.
Would you trade the 110 for Mixon in a PPR Superflex?
No.
If you're competing this year?
I'm doing it. If I'm a contender, I mean 110, what are you gonna get?
I did this move 2 years ago. I traded a first rounder for Mixon. I would do it. I can't say no because I've actually done this. I've given up a future first for him. So yeah.
Well, not that just that you've done it, but it's paid off. Like he's getting used he's being used this year in a way that makes, yeah. And it's he's on the first year of a deal.
Listen, the 110, that means you're a contender. That's probably the piece you need for a championship. Go all in. Yeah, do it.
So we got 2 yeses. We got 1 no, I think, with David. Rich, are you yes or no?
I'm a yes.
All right. Jimmy F says, thinking of benching Debo and playing Vili instead this week. Thoughts, David?
While we're on a Jimmy question, he sent me a message and asked if any of us have ever played high school or college sports.
I played high school.
High school football.
High school.
Yeah, I did football and basketball in high school.
I wrestled.
I was too dumb to go to college. All right. Thinking of benching Debo, playing. What do you guys think here?
I'm actually paying. I would play Vele. He was actually my receiver waiver pickup waiver list this past week and everything. So he's a part of that offense. I don't care what anybody says. He's a part of that offense.
So Rich is in. David?
I had to look up who he is. I had no idea.
He's rookie for the Denver Broncos.
Yeah, I saw that. No, I'm still going Debo. Oh no, in the snow. God damn it.
Yep.
No, I'm still going Debo. Again, I had to Google who you are. I can't play you.
Look at his stats.
All right.
Yeah, look at his stats, dude. You're going to be surprised when you look at this. Like his last few games have been actually fairly decent.
Devon Vele.
The last 4 weeks against Kent in PPR, last 3 weeks rather, at Kansas City, he had 13.9. Home to Atlanta, 10.6. Last week against the Vegas on the road, 14 points. Like, yeah, he's actually been pretty decent.
I'm a little curious because I looked up his stats and it has him as passing 8 games played, no attempts, no completions, no percentage, no yards, no average, no touchdowns, no interceptions. But somehow he has a 39.6 rating, which is better than some quarterbacks.
It's probably better than Bo Nix, to be honest.
I knew he was going to say that. I knew he was going to say that.
I don't want to Daniel Jones any names.
I'm going to go Vele then just because of the snow, but hesitantly because, again, I had to Google who that was.
Yeah, I'm gonna go Debo here. I do like Vele. I actually got him going in a league this week, but yeah, I'm still gonna stick with Debo.
Board bet Vele does outproduce Debo this week. I'm telling you right now. I'm switching back. I want Debo. He's too much of a gadget player in the snow. They're gonna queue him up for some running plays today.
Mark, where are you?
I'm gonna make you break the tie and stick with Vele just because I'm sticking to that trend, avoiding receivers in the snow. But I will say, I was going to say the same thing David said. If there was one receiver I'd consider playing in the snow, it'd be Debo, just because I think they'll find ways to use them out of the backfield, but I can't trust that.
I'm gonna say Debo because I think it's gonna be more fun. That's what I think. It's gonna be a more fun game to watch, and so I want to see Debo do well in the snow. Also, Bo Nix has just shy of a 90-yard QBR, or 90-point QBR.
Last I checked is really not that good, but that's okay. Please continue.
No, but I also think that factors in like the first couple weeks where he was pretty terrible, and so it's weighted down by that, and not here recently where he's been a pretty decent quarterback. So, I mean, you're right. If this was the beginning of the season, he was not great, but he's had a nice stretch. Crana, Carr or Murray in Superflex? Rich.
Murray.
Come on, not Carr. That was your boy.
No, he still is my boy, but I mean, this one's easy, Murray.
Murray, David.
That's Carr for me.
Mark.
Murray.
2 for Murray. George.
It's Murray because anytime they're going to get close to the goal line, you always run the risk that they take Carr out and put Taysom Hill in, which is going to reduce the opportunities for Carr to get a passing touchdown.
All right, and then I'm interested about this. We'll have to come back to this. We got another question to get to, but Rompadump says 4-point quarterback, but then doesn't ask a question. So I'm
wondering if it was referring to another question he had that involved quarterbacks.
I don't think because I would have noticed the name Rompadump. Oh, it was Kyler or Darnold. Yeah, Kyler or Darnold on 4-point. Does that change anybody?
100% Kyler. I was on Kyler to begin with. But it's 100% Kyler at 4-point per passing touchdown.
I'd probably switch to Kyler as well. So now we're back on Kyler.
With 4 points, I would switch to Kyler.
Okay, and I apologize, Rompadump. I missed your name. So Otten Ertz.
Ertz.
Dave. Who said Ertz?
I did.
Okay, Rich.
Hold on. Oh.
Okay, Mark. Well, Rich is making a decision.
You go Otten.
Otten. Okay. George.
Otten. Against the 30th ranked defense against tight ends.
Yeah, Otten.
Okay. It is Otten, and then Aaron Jones or Connor as my running back 2. Almost doesn't matter because Barkley's the 1. George?
I would go Aaron Jones here.
Jones. David?
Connor.
Rich?
Jones.
2 for Jones. Mark?
Jones.
3 for Jones. Mr. Jones and you. Likely
Minnesota, just so everybody knows, is the number 2 defense against opposing running backs on the year.
Likely Alex Pierce or Noah Brown for Frankenstank. Just playing spoiler at this point. Mark.
I mean, has Likely caught a pass recently?
I was gonna say, who's Likely? I don't even know who that is anymore.
Oh man, everybody was so big on Likely at the beginning of the season. Look where everybody's now.
Yeah, I go Alec Pierce.
Pierce. Rich.
No Brown.
Brown. David.
Pierce.
2 for Pierce, 1 for Brown. George.
I'm going to go Alex Pierce because Josh Downs is not playing in that game.
All right, 3 for Pierce. Manny Jordan says, I think we answered this one already.
It was Jaden Daniels.
It is Jaden Daniels, yeah.
It was Josh.
That was
It was Josh Allen, but the correct answer was Jaden Daniels.
3 of us said Josh Allen. 2 of us said Jaden Daniels.
3 of us said Josh Allen based on name, not on logic.
Controversial says Burrow or Daniels.
Daniels.
And then the cat. What's the cat say?
The cat.
The demon cat.
I mean, come on, one place for the Bengals.
That was a cat. That sounded like it said actual words. Like that.
No, that's one of my cats outside. He comes to the door and causes havoc.
It's a sign to pick the Bengal, so you go Burrow.
All right, one for Burrow, one for Daniels.
I just like to say he's a black cat that looks exactly like a panther, so wrong cat.
Rich.
How? Yeah, never mind. I'm not even gonna say it. I'm gonna go Burrow here.
2 for Burrow, 1 for Daniels.
Burrow.
Okay, Burrow 3-1. PPR, Chubb or Pickens? David.
It's Pickens.
The categories, so does George, so does Rich. Mark?
Pickens.
Okay, it is Pickens. Jimmy F says London, Harrison, Jr., or JSN only need one. I like the head turn that Rich made, so I'm going to put him on the spot and go first.
Yeah, I am going London.
Yep.
I know he's coming back from injury and stuff like that. We had a bye last week. They did have a bye last week, right? Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
All right, so George and Rich are going London.
Yep.
I'm gonna go JSN.
David's going JSN, which is France. Do you see Harrison's underpants, Mark?
No. I think most weeks I would take JSN, but I think with the matchup, I'm going London here.
All right, 3 for London, 1 for JSN. And then the last of the questions, Minnie Jordan gets the last question. Full PPR, Ladd or Terry? George?
Come back to me. I need to think this one over.
Nope, you're first because you said Herbert's going to be the number 1 quarterback and you love Terry McLaurin. I'm putting you on the spot.
I absolutely do. I want to play both these guys.
But
I'm going Terry McLaurin.
Terry McLaurin.
Yeah, I want both of them so bad.
Rich, I like this.
Ladd.
David?
It's Ladd.
And then Mark.
Ladd.
All right, 3 for Ladd, 1 for Terry. And I lied about being the last question because we got another Ladd question. Ladd or Najee Harris? David?
It's Ladd.
Ladd.
This is much easier than the last one, Ladd.
Oh, so much easier.
All right, I'm just trying to get David on record for as many Steelers questions as possible before we close the show out. I do want to thank everybody that asked questions, everybody that's watched. Our viewer counts kind of climbed a little bit, so we do appreciate that. We actually had a decent amount of views on YouTube. It looked like we had more views on YouTube than it shows on here. I don't know how that works. People are watching for takes after the game's played. Maybe just checking to see how wrong we were. I don't know. I do have one more question that came in, so we'll get to that. But I want to thank everybody who does watch, everybody who listens. We appreciate it. We have a lot of fun with you guys every week. I like to bring in a little bit of humor to this because, man, these questions, when you're picking between Westbrook Akine and
you think it's bad this week? Wait till next week. Oh, we're gonna have some fun next week.
Yeah, unfortunately, I won't be. I'll call you from Magic Kingdom, where my son will be celebrating. Hey, how's it going? Oh,
You're
can't
muted.
hear you because your dad muted you.
It's the man, the myth, and the legend right there.
I found it. I think.
Yeah,
Yep,
you're
we
good.
can hear you now.
Okay. Yeah, I just woke up.
Well, we heard you trolled your dad after the loss on Friday, so I do want to give you
yeah.
That phenomenal job, by the way. You get the golf clap for that.
This lady, she comes in and she goes, "Yeah, how's that Raiders and Chiefs game going?" And I look at my dad and so, "Yeah, how was the Raiders and Chiefs game going?" That was so funny.
We got a serious question here from Jimmy F asking if leftovers get thrown out the 3rd or 4th day. No, they don't make it that long. No.
We missed the question too.
I know. I'm going to it. Justin says because posts on Blue Sky get way more views than posts on X. Like, I don't think that's the case, but know, if that's a dream you want to keep holding on to. Andrew Miller says, thanks to you guys. We are all hilarious. That is, that's mostly these guys here, and it's just mostly the way they look. Control Versal says, pick one, Debo, Thomas Jr., or Pickens. Debo, Thomas Jr., Pickens, or Vele. I'm going to start with David.
It's Pickens.
See, that's the one constant he's been picking for the Steelers.
Pickens and Warren. Pickens and Warren.
Pickens, George.
Oh, Vile.
I will
Vile.
bet the hell out of that.
Okay. Rich is the Vile guy. Are you on Vile?
I am, but I'm gonna let my son make this pick.
Huh?
Which one you want, Keegan? Debo, Brian Thomas Jr., Pickens, or Veely?
Pickens.
Okay, 2 for Pickens. 1 for Vile, and then Mark.
Pickens. And I'm going to say Keegan has the chance to be the only guy with 100% pick ratio on the show with that pick right there.
And then Jimmy says Barkley on the next Madden. I mean, R.I.P. Barkley. Why would you do that?
I know.
Why would you?
We found out that that's no joke.
Like, why would you do that to a guy who's already had injuries throughout his career? Like, you saw what happened.
You want to hear something amazing? So here's where we're currently at with regarding the New York Jets. Okay. Geno Smith is the quarterback facing the Jets today, with Mark Sanchez calling the game, with Mike Tannenbaum helping to find the new GM and head coach, and Rex Ryan begging to be that new head coach. We have literally come full circle on the Jets.
I got a text question.
Okay, go ahead.
If you have an upset of the day, what is it?
I'll say Panthers over Bucks.
Dude.
No, you can't pick your own team.
Dude.
Can't pick your own team.
Survivor pick this week.
Huh?
That's my survivor pick this week.
Well, I'm sorry, like that's a bad move for you, bud. You can pick against your own team. That's the rule.
No. For the upset of the week, you cannot pick your own team to lose because you're trying to reverse jinx it. Absolutely not. I will still stand 10 toes down on that. You cannot do that, Jason. You got to pick another game.
Good thing I'm hosting this week. Next week you can make that rule.
It doesn't matter. Nope. So, see, I tried to bring him back. He didn't even want to come back.
So technically, my game of the week is an upset because I took the Eagles over the Ravens, but I'll also take the Steelers over the Bengals, and they're also technically 3-point favorites. The Bengals are so.
All right, so David's got the Steelers. Although you're not supposed to be able to pick your team, that's fine. I'll let you do it. I'll let you get away with it since I'm picking against my team. Mark?
The Eagles over the Ravens.
Okay, Eagles.
When it's out, bet against the Lamar.
All right, Rich?
I mean, I got 2 that I would like to choose from. It's either Tennessee winning over Commanders or 49ers beating the Bills freaking in the snow game, man.
Which one do you want?
I'm going to go with the 49ers. I'm going to pick that as an upset.
I'm gonna say Rich was just real upset Friday, and we'll just give him the Raiders. He was real upset. George?
The 2 that I can honestly see being upset is I can see the Patriots beating the Colts. I think that would be a big upset. But for my official pick, I'm going to take the Browns over the Broncos.
There you go. Because you're so anti-Bo Nix. And then Justin's talking about how many followers and how many like interactions you get on Blue Sky compared to X, and that's something we can hash out at a later date. He does get to see the numbers though, so it is fair if he's seeing more interaction. So with that, guys, it is 12:23. We have to go make all our lineups, and so we are going to go do that. But again, thank you for everybody who watched and listened. Justin, you have to figure out what tier level it is that Mark's going to go help Dustin move the week before Christmas. I bet you Dustin will have some tendies. Get a bucket of tendies.
I have tendies at home.
But I do want to say thank you to everybody who watched and listened, everybody who likes and subscribes, everybody who goes to patreon.com and do toilets titles. And for George, for Mark, for David, for Justin, who's supposed to be working but is doing a lot like most people working from home, is much rather playing here, and for Frito, who's going to go hit the links. We appreciate everything you do for us. Thank you for watching, and we will see you here next Sunday.